So today I have a cheap diesel. I bought this thing last night and it's got an engine code in it currently for like a bank 2 circuit code for the injectors. I'm not a diesel expert and this thing was really cheap, so I figured this would be kind of a fun video to make. Basically, I'm just going to try and diagnose this thing and make it run right. Right now it's only hitting on 3 cylinders because of either a short or I don't know, maybe like a break in the wiring somewhere. I don't know, we're gonna see. Apparently the valve cover gaskets on these things are notoriously bad. This is an 06 Cummins, by the way. And I don't know, we're just gonna start and see how this goes. Hopefully by the end of the day, I have a 6-speed Cummins that runs and drives, because right now it's like, I don't think I'd make it out of the parking lot. So basically what I'm gonna start with is, well, I already did, but checking the oil. People say that if your oil's over full, more than likely you have a bad injector and it's pushing fuel down into the crankcase. The oil is halfway through the hash marks, so that's either the case and they started with really low oil, or I got lucky and it's not actually an injector that's bad. So I'm gonna start by pulling the valve cover off and checking the injectors, ohming out the injectors to make sure they're good before I start tearing into the harness. If I do this, if I pull this off and the injectors look good ohm-wise, I'm going to pull the valve cover gasket. I'll probably throw a new one on because they're only about $150 and see if that makes the issue go away. Also, I noticed yesterday that it has an edge tuner on it. I've never seen one of these trucks with one of these piggyback tuners that actually runs worth a shit. Usually those things cause all sorts of problems, just from my experience, and I don't have a ton, so there's probably somebody out there that knows more than I do. But these edge piggybacks, it seems like these trucks always have blow-by or bad injectors or what have you, and I don't think I'd ever put one of those on a truck I planned on driving. So I pulled that thing off. I thought about trying to run it now to see if the issue went away with that, but honestly, it's not much work to pull this thing off, so I'm just going to start there, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I'm jumping in a little deeper than I need to right off the bat. A lot of people start by checking the wiring here. The problem is like ohming that. I'm not exactly sure what the reading is supposed to be for the valve cover gasket itself, but I know what the injectors are supposed to be. Obviously the injectors are what you don't want to have to do. They're the most expensive and the most time consuming to swap out. So I'm going to, I just disconnected all these from the injector so I can get an accurate reading. Now I'm going to start by ohming these out and seeing what my readings are. All right, so I believe I found my issue. Basically, so the way the Cummins is set up, there's 2 connectors. So you have bank 1, which is the front 3, bank 2, which is the rear 3. I went through and checked them. Of course, I'm having issues with the rear 3. You got to work under the cowl to get to any of these. I did get lucky though. Basically, went through and ohmed them all just to get you know, make sure there was a consistent reading between everything. Pretty much everything was 0.07, 0.08. The only one that read differently was this one right here, and it was 17.9. So this is our problem. Basically, you know, everything else obviously read the same. This thing's reading really high, which means there's high resistance in that injector, which will throw this code. So I'm gonna go buy a reman injector. I think it's like $300, and yeah, shouldn't be any big deal. I'm gonna try and pop that thing out, get a new one installed here, and then fire this baby up, and hopefully we have a good truck. 6-speed manual 06 Cummins. It's kind of beat. It's got a little hail damage. It's got kind of the usual Midwest rust. Yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna try and drive this thing home tonight. Well, I just got a pretty nice surprise. I bought a truck maybe, I don't know, 3 years ago, 2-3 years ago, and it was an 05 59 Cummins, and it had 1 brand new injector in it and then 5 that were not so good. One of them was started to haze on idle, and it was throwing an injector code. I went ahead and just bought an entire set and did them all, because obviously if they replaced one and then another one went bad, you know, it's just going to be a chain reaction. That being said, because it had a brand new one, I left that one in the truck, did the other 5 because it was an OE injector, and it left me with 1 OE injector for an 04.5 to 07. I didn't realize they went through all those years, but man, I just kind of hit the jackpot because I've been hoarding this thing for almost 3 years, and I just found out that I don't have to spend $300 on a reman, and It's an OE injector. Who doesn't love that? It's the best you can get. So I'm gonna throw this thing in. I owned this just for the hell of it, and it's 0.82. So gonna toss this baby back in, see if this thing runs right. All right, so I missed the first startup. Sounded pretty gnarly because fuel leaks down into the cylinder. But no more check engine light. Runs perfectly smooth. Let's test this. If you hold them at like 2,000 RPM and then let off, you'll kind of hear it bounce if you have an injector that's hanging open. Nice and smooth. This thing's good to go. So I don't buy very many broken diesels, but this thing was cheap and it was kind of a fun little project. Unfortunately, I didn't have a good way to film like taking it apart or actually working on it, but hopefully it's mildly entertaining, or I guess if you came here to try and fix your truck, hopefully that helped you. It wasn't super technical, but hey, thanks for watching. And if I buy another piece of shit truck, I'll see you then.